So is everybody physically, if not emotionally, prepared?
Yes.
So,
Okay.
I am.
I swore to myself that I would not eat cough drops during the session because I could hear it during the recording of last session, and it was irritating to me personally. I don't know if anybody else just listening to it randomly could pick it out, not knowing what the sound was.
I don't think
Or
I
people
But
noticed
I
do.
it.
could, and I felt gross. And here I am. I'm actually having another cough drop, so I failed
Don't worry
myself.
about it.
I already right out the gate, failing as the dungeon master by making cough drop sounds. I just realized I have too many windows open. I wasn't physically ready. Oh no, I lied. Okay, so this is session 2. Out of theoretically 3 sessions, I swear to God, somehow we'll wrap this up next week. I don't know how, but somehow it will happen.
Hmm.
Of
Well, the good news
harrowing.
is we found the hive, or we found the bees,
You found some bees, more or less.
more or less.
We did, but I don't think I want to find those bees again. They
No,
weren't
not.
nice.
They weren't cuddly bees.
Uh-uh.
They weren't the kind you wanted to make a beard out of. Do some stunt bee photography. Or at least they weren't by the time you last saw them.
No.
You guys are in the High Forest right now. You kicked off the adventure. 2 of your characters, Yelena and Terrell, you are spring wardens for the Emerald Enclave, and you were sent on a mission to help out this village of Rushfair that seems to be having some kind of agricultural problem. And once you arrived and you made a connection with your contact called Arbiter Drusel, which I think I actually called Arbiter Terrell at one point during the stream. Because, I don't know. They were close enough. The names were close enough. That's what I'm saying. You didn't get promoted. And you found out that bees were missing out of this village. And the village has based a lot of its agriculture and its culture basically relies on bees and bee-related products. So, you started tracking the bees. And someone named Kai, who had lately arrived at this village, was dispatched to be your local escort in terms of talking with the villagers and giving him something to do other than hang out at the local tavern all day and night, gambling and living his life. So you talked to some villagers, had more or less a decent night's sleep at the local tavern, give or take a baby owlbear and some dogs on the beds and runaway lizards. You had breakfast more or less. And then you went into the high forest. You cannily handled a rampaging pack of wild boar, avoided getting overrun, and then you ran into a scout, an orc scout. Some followers of the god Malar, the god of the hunt, seem to be roaming this portion of the forest. You ran into them. You proceeded to their camp somewhat unstealthily. Like I was really rooting for you. But there was a lot of low dice rolls. And the majority of
remember that.
cases.
So
I mean,
going to
there
be
were a few,
clank, clank, clank
there
all the
were a
way.
few really good rolls, but where stealth was concerned, where the stealth was concerned, it was terrible. I think it was pretty. And I think I kind of, very stupidly planned that whole encounter with the idea that you would somehow sneak up to the camp and observe things and then have a choice as to how things went, like, I don't know. I should never have expectations, should I?
No.
It's a really bad idea.
We're either going to roll really badly or really well.
I'm so used to you guys rolling like amazingly when you really need to.
That's just rage. At the end, yeah.
So, you came across this orc camp and you did find some orcs. And you killed them. Because they went on the defensive. They didn't want you around, apparently. They took it badly, you stumbling across their camp. But in the course when you were kind of combating the orcs in this camp. Another orc came running in, and on his heels was a huge swarm of bees. And the swarm of bees seemed to be after some kind of flower that the orc was holding. At least they were attracted to him. They were following him, using him as a beeline for their path. And this orc stopped by this pit in the camp, pulled off a tarp, revealed that these orcs had captured a gelatinous cube that was residing in the pit, which Terrell did roll high enough to identify, I think, to pick out, like, hey, I can actually see that that transparent gelatinous cube's pseudopodia, like, wiggling around. But this swarm of bees commingled with the gelatinous cube, and the swarm of bees was so large that it managed to disrupt the gelatinous cube, and they formed this kind of swarm monstrosity of gelatinous cube and swarm of bees, and went flying away from the camp. After which you continued to fight the orcs and kill the remaining. So now it's time to loot the camp. If you want to loot the camp. I mean, maybe you don't want to look around for clues or anything. Maybe
Seriously.
considering, I mean, there's like a ranger, and then there's this paladin who's kind of taken an oath of nature, and then there's Kai. Well, Kai, maybe some of you aren't into material goods, but Kai, how do you feel about looting?
Love to loot.
Love looting?
Yeah.
I gotta buy my green smoothie somehow.
I want to get my javelins back.
Oh yeah, there's a javelin in the tree.
Yeah.
You have to, like, kind of hop up, get it out of the tree.
So that's a question.
Cool.
Can I get arrows back?
A half of your arrows.
Half?
Mm-hmm. But as you start to search around this camp, you find things. She says, looking at her notes, what actually do you find?
Well, there was some sort of mortar and pestle something or other going on at the tent, right?
Yeah, with some yellow flower.
Yes.
Yeah, and since the bees seem to like the flowers, maybe we should think about picking some of them up.
And yeah, look into them.
So you do find, and I didn't mark down, but there are extra javelin in this camp. So there's the one javelin that you threw into a tree with a misfire, I think, Terrell. There's another javelin that you, I think, threw into somebody's chest. But you find 8 additional javelin if you want to pick some of those up.
I will do so, yes.
And I didn't add it, but there's some normal arrows around here too. So if you want to, you can give yourself up to 10 more arrows.
So am I safe to go back to having 5 javelins?
Yeah, and if you want to give yourself extra up to 8 more, that's fine. I think they're kind of heavy, and that's a lot of javelins to be carrying.
Yeah, I think I'll just stick with the 5. That's fine.
Okay. And I need to give. Where's your party inventory? Oh, I remember this now. Well, you can manually do the javelins and the arrows, so I won't put them anywhere. So 2 different things. Or 2 spots of interest. I mean, there's still, like, a campfire burning here. There's some wood. So if you wanted to rest, you could pretty much just yoink their camp. There is a rack that's built out of, looks like bones of a large creature, like maybe a bear. And there are hides drying on it that from some creature that they have skinned, and they're preparing it. The two southern tents don't seem to have much in them of note. Just that's where you found some of the extra arrows and javelins. A few silver pieces. But by and large, not much of anything of interest. If you look in the northernmost tent, that was where the shaman fellow was camping out. You notice, the dropped mortar and pestle has this kind of pasty yellow substance. It's a bit waxy in it. It's gotten dirt in it now from falling on the ground and getting kind of knocked about during the combat. So whatever it was has been dirtified.
Can I do a check to see if I can make out what it is? I've got proficiency in medicine.
I would do
Oh,
a
nature.
check.
Okay. Oh,
This is
blimey.
better.
Dirty 20.
You don't recognize what the substance is. You can tell it's natural. It definitely seems like it came from a plant. You think it is some sort of pollen or plant byproduct that has been used, the mortal and pestle has been used on. But you don't recognize it as being a plant you're used to seeing in the forest. And if you had to make a guess, you'd say it was possibly otherworldly, like you suspect it might be Fey in origin.
Okay.
There's something about the luminosity of the color. There's something about the scent that is especially fragrant.
Hang on a
Fragrant.
sec. Grim's just crashed.
Grim is
The
just crashed.
computer. Yeah. crashed
Are
the
you
computer.
still? Are you crashed from Discord?
Crashed from everything. Computer
Okay.
just turned off.
Then we should talk about something that doesn't apply to her search. That doesn't apply to the plot either, because I don't want her to miss anything that's potentially a clue. Huh. So maybe we should talk about the baby owlbear.
Yeah. Did we left her behind?
When I listened back to last week's episode, that whole baby owlbear thing was a little bit amorphous. I think at one point the plan was to talk to the baby owlbear and like be like, hey, because you healed its wing, so it's no longer injured. And there was some talk about resettling it in the forest, but you wanted to maybe talk to it to
See, I've got animal friendship, but I don't think I have speak with animals.
see.
Somebody else does.
Grim
Maybe.
might have speak with animals.
Yeah, I think so. You got to speak with animals. Yeah.
But I think we did get a little bit sidetracked with the whole sleeping the blanket for it for the owlbear, because you used animal friendship and made
That's right.
friends with the owlbear, and so we got distracted with Yelena having the owlbear sleeping in her room, and I guess maybe taking up too much of the bed or something. Or no, maybe
actually,
it was because you were friends. It was actually behaving and staying in the blanket
Yeah,
fort.
exactly. And everybody else had to share.
And everyone else had problems
Dogs.
with yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
So
Sorry.
it's kind of like either or. I mean, if you go back to the village, you could maybe talk to the owlbear and bring it along next time to see if there's a place. If you can reunite it with its people, I don't know. Maybe this is a good time to note that as you examine the body of the shaman, you see that there are owlbear parts as part of the hide armor that he's wearing. There's like an owlbear beak that's his helmet, and there's feathers on the epaulets of his hide shoulders that was used in decoration. So it seems at some point these orcs killed an owlbear.
Well, that's just nasty.
So Grim is back in Discord, but not back in the game in Fantasy Grounds.
Yes. Just saying it's
I see you
there
just
we go.
connecting.
Yeah.
Okay, well I'll get back to like talking about game stuff
Yeah,
since you can
sure.
actually hear. But I was telling you that the mortar and pestle substance seemed like it. You thought it might be something possibly Fey because of the strong scent, the bright color.
Now,
seemed,
would I, me being in with Faye a little bit, would I know? Potentially?
You would like confirm that hypothesis. You would be like, I support that idea that this could be Fey.
Gotcha.
You can't. You can make a nature check if you want to.
I'll try.
Yeah, another dirty 20.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, you're both kind of like, hey, this seems like a Fey plant to me, but because it's all mashed up, you're not sure what it is. You looking in the tent, you find 3 poison arrows that it seems the shaman had been working on.
Do we know what poison? What it does?
You can do another check.
Nature?
But I put them in the party inventory.
Okay. Would it be a nature check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or survival if that's better. Okay.
Nice.
You think it's not the strongest poison you've ever encountered. You don't believe it's from the Underdark. You've run into really fearsome poisons that seem to have come from the underground, like from purple worms or something like that in the past, and it's nothing that toxic.
Just sort of
But here
irritating?
again, it's something mildly irritating.
So you shoot someone with it and it just really pisses them
Definitely would
off.
do some additional. No, it would do some additional poisonous damage to somebody if you shot them with one of these arrows. But it's not something that's going to instantly drop somebody dead.
Oh, does anybody else have a bow
Mm-mm.
in the party?
All
Mm-mm.
yours.
No.
All right, I'll take them. Where's the party inventory?
In the top
Top
right,
right.
there's like an eye and a bunch of people figures, and I'll open up the party sheet. And then there's an inventory tag.
All right, I'll grab those. Let's see.
Other details, this stuff that's in the mortar and pestle, it does have a strong kind of herbal soap smell, like Irish Spring or something.
That's just the mushed up paste in the
That's the mushed
mortar
up
and pestle.
paste, the yellow mushed up paste that has all the dirt in it.
Well-
The poison doesn't seem to have any kind of odor.
Should we take the paste with us?
I'm just wondering if we need to go back to town. I mean, surely that's something that what's his name is going to be interested in.
You also
And maybe
find
he knows.
he might be able to identify something.
Right.
Oh, you also find amongst the supplies and knickknacks and miscellaneous things that the shaman has in this tent, you pull together stuff that you look like it would be the equivalent of an alchemist supply kit. So while it's nothing like especially like weird or unusual, it's the equivalent of a toolkit. So if Drusel's running low on supplies, he might find it useful. It's not an exceptional thing, though. But general supplies. Or if one of you guys are any of you proficient as alchemists?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Anyone
But we
have an
can-
interest in becoming proficient at a later date
So.
would perhaps want to keep that.
We could take it for Drusel, couldn't we? Because he
You
did say
could.
he'd pay.
He was running low on stuff, but he did. It was like he was like people are not foraging. They aren't going hunting as much because they're so busy trying to pollinate things by hand and keep their crops alive. That the normal import of alchemical goods that he relies on has trickled to a crawl, to a little drip of alchemical supplies. Which is why he was like, while you're doing this really important thing, can you go shopping for me?
I guess take it where you can. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want it, then we can decide to either dump it or just, like you say, maybe one of us will use it in the future. But
You come across what looks like a journal that the orc shaman was keeping. Do any of you speak orc?
excuse me while I check. I do not. Speak giant. I take it that's not close enough.
No, it's not.
Dan.
A
Speak
distinctly
goblin.
different dialect.
I do apparently have one of my choice. Common, Elvish, one of your choice, Sylvan. So I could make my choice Orcish.
Surprise. Oh, you know what? I take this back. I also take back. I think Terrell should at least know a little bit of Orcish. Oh, you could know a little bit of Orcish, but yeah, you can pick that as one of your languages.
Okay.
I think that's got us all covered on the main ones then, if you take Hawk.
I mean, theoretically, Terrell, you're from like a village that's not too far from Silvery Moon, and you might have been in the militia there. And they've had in the recent, like about a decade ago, they did have to fight off orcs from the north, so you might know a few phrases here and there of Orcish.
Okay.
But maybe none of the dialogue that's in this journal. But if Yelena knows Orcish now,
Yeah.
how
Ding. Retro.
do you have any
Matrix
idea of like
download.
where you learned Orcish? How did that come about?
Just hanging out in the woods, you run into orcs.
As you do.
As you do.
If only you learned like conversational Orcish. Unfortunately, it didn't include where are the bees. What you can glean from kind of the bits that you can pick out that you understand of this Orcish journal. You get the idea that these orcs were kind of low rung among the followers of Malar in this forest. They were really looking to impress somebody that they referred to as Turk. So they were kind of like a little splinter group trying to make some good hunts so they could bring some trophies back to some other orcs that are somewhere in this high forest. They don't specify where. And impress them, get some kind of street cred, have some trophies to present in honor of Malar. The orcs had found some caves that led deep underground, and they mentioned caverns filled with mushrooms and an encounter they had with the myconoid type creatures, but they dismissed these myconoids as being weak prey. They don't specify the location of this cave entrance. They do mention that they trapped the gelatinous cube in those caves, and they managed to escort it, lure it out of the caves and into this pit because they were trying to present it as a trophy. They were keeping it alive because other oozes they fought had dissipated and in the past, and they didn't want to do that with this particular specimen. There's a mention they're on the watch for wood elves that scout the forest. They also mentioned they found strange flowers to the north, and one type seemed workable as a poison, another seems to repel acid.
Well, that's interesting. What
So-
with the whole cube?
So that's what Yelena picks out from the journal, and here and there, you know, like Terrell, you're reading over her shoulder and you're like, that word, yeah, I understood that word.
Flower.
Flower, yeah, I know that word.
Okay, so shall I grab the alchemy supplies and we'll take them back to him?
Yeah.
And the yellow goop.
In the goop.
We're taking the goop. Okay.
As you look around, if you look at the pit, you see that when the swarm and the gelatinous cube commingled, anything that was suspended within the gelatinous cube previously fell out as the swarm monstrosity flew away. So you see at the bottom of the pit, there's a collection, like a sprinkling of coins lining the bottom of the pit. There's some half-digested body parts. There seems to be a shield, a suit of armor, maybe some gems. And lying alongside the pit is the tarp. It still looks like it's been treated with some kind of greasy substance. And it's just lying alongside where the orc who unleashed the gelatinous cube just threw it to the side.
So one of us go down the pit and get all the good stuff.
Off you go then.
It's about 15. The pit's about
We
15
have
feet
volunteer.
deep. The pit's about 15 feet deep. So how do you want to do it? Are you going to climb or what?
We got
Yeah.
we got a tree and some rope too.
Yeah, we got rope, haven't we?
Well, I tell you what, since I'm probably heavier than everyone with the whole armor and stuff, I'm not going to take it off this. I will provide some kind of extra support for the rope if you want.
All right, I can go in.
All right. You can do an athletics or acrobatics check to see how you do the climb.
Eh.
It's a little bit awkward climbing down the rope. You manage to there apparently is a spot that isn't completely sturdy, and as you start to rappel down the side of the pit, there's some dirt and mud that kind of knocks loose beneath your feet, and for a second you think there's going to be a little bit of a cave in, and so you have to catch yourself. There's like a whoa kind of moment, but otherwise you make it to the bottom of the pit without incident. Littered there, you find about 22 platinum pieces,
Oh, nice.
Good ching.
48 gold,
I can just imagine Kai's hopping around at the top of the pit going, gimme, gimme, gimme.
and between what you looted off of the orcs, there was also 57 silver and 12 copper pieces. You find one gem. Looks like it's hematite. What is hematite? It's a gray-black gem. So I don't know how much that interests you. There is a breastplate. That's what the armor was.
I'm just going to call down, does it look as if it's in decent nick? Is it decent compared to my own, or?
There's a simple metal shield.
Nah, I'll stick with what I've got. Leave them. I don't want them.
Is there an armory in town that we can sell these to?
There was a store, like a smithy and a general store. It was called the Nectar of the Goods and Sundry. It was across from the inn.
You think it's worth hauling these back to cash them in?
Well, it depends. If we're going back to town now, we could do. But if we're going to be wandering around a bit longer, maybe not.
Good question. What do we want to do? What time of day is it?
You spent a couple hours now, so it's about midday. Lunchtime. Another thing you notice amidst the dirt and the stuff that you found at the bottom of the pit and the body part, you see that there are some mashed yellow flowers of the kind that the orcs had been carrying and that the bees were interested in.
Ah. Are these a little more identifiable? Or are they still the same kind of consistency that's been...
They're
Got
not
the
as
flavors.
mashed as the paste. You see that there's several of these flowers, and amidst many of them look like while the flowers and leaves are intact, that they didn't seem to be digested by the gelatinous cube.
As if you don't like them.
If you look within the flower where the pistil and stamen are, most of them seem to be devoid of any kind of pollen. You can do another nature check.
Okay.
Because there does seem to be, amidst all of these flowers, one intact bloom.
Shoot. It's just that his journal said something about it being resistant to acid, yeah? One of the flowers.
One of the flowers.
Which makes me wonder if it's got like anti-cube properties. We know nothing.
None of you rolled high enough to like identify it, to know exactly what it was. But Yelena, you're pretty sure that you have this one good intact flower. Maybe you could find out more about it. So maybe somebody else knows what this plant is. But you still have that feeling, and it still has that kind of Irish Spring smell about it. You have a feeling that maybe it could be used as bee bait. Maybe this is the plant, because it's yellow, that they were grinding up into paste, and maybe it's the one they were referring to that was acid resistant. But so I'm gonna put a plant in your inventory. They're yellow-green flowers, by the way.
Okay. How long did it take us to get out of here?
So we're at
You
midday.
were tracking through the forest for a couple hours.
Right, so it didn't take long. So
You
we
fought
could
the
we could.
orcs. Yeah, you still
Right.
have a good half the day that you could continue wandering around the forest if you want to. If you want to take a short rest, and like use your hit die for any injuries you have,
Mm.
you could do that.
All right. What do you think? Do we want to go back and speak to the guy about the flowers and stuff, or do we want to just keep looking, see if we can find out what else?
You've kind of picked through everything in this camp except for there's the tarp by the pit. Anything else? I mean, there's firewood and just like a mundane hand axe, but otherwise, you have looted the place.
I mean, is it going to seem a bit odd if we call back after a couple of hours?
Right, really.
Maybe we should carry on looking around out here.
Yeah, I think so.
Which direction did the bees go in? Do we know?
You saw them kind of leave. They were kind of headed to the west when they
But
left
the
the clearing.
journal said they found a cave to the north.
There was a cave to the north. Yeah.
But that was where they found the cube, wasn't it?
Which direction's town in? South.
Yes.
All right. So
The southwest.
should we go west to try and find the bees? Because after all, we are trying to find the bees, aren't we?
Yeah, let's do
I
that.
don't think they count as bees anymore, but sure.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe we can separate them somehow.
And maybe they're heading off to the other bees. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's as good a plan as any. So, do we want to do the short resting, try and get some hit points back? I mean, we didn't lose
Yeah.
much, but
Yeah.
I've forgotten how to use a hit die.
Me too. Do we just roll this thing at the bottom?
Yeah. I don't know if it matters, but when you take a long rest, you'll get half of those hit die back.
That's not bad. 7 back.
But I don't think any of you were that injured, so.
No. I think Kai took the worst hit, and I did a cure wounds on him.
And I will give you a short rest. Or will I? So official short rest has happened. You're in the forest. I will plop out that old forest map and let's see if Yelena can actually open it.
Oh, should we grab the stuff? Do you want me to take the breastplate and the shields? Because I can carry a fair bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then it's up to you who wants to take the gem and the flowers. And the gold.
I see the forest.
Yay! Can you move yourself, though?
Yep.
Yay!
Must have been a temporary glitch thing.
Okay. So you can adjust yourselves as you're wandering through the forest.
Okay, so we're heading west, yeah?
Yeah, it sounds like that's what you were talking about, heading west.
So we all just zoom off the end of the map.
Yep, we went west.
Gone west.
That was that. I'm so tickled.
I mean, we can circle back to the east and just pretend we're continuing to walk.
Do you know, I thought that, but I wasn't going to say it.
We
Will
need
I
to
look
just-
at something? Will I look for something? So you've been, everybody make a survival check.
Oh no.
You started out following the path leading westward out of the orc camp, which was pretty much the path you used to find the orc camp in the first place. Where the plant life had been dislodged underground and there were signs of something large having knocked back and bent twigs and underbrush and overbrush. And given the intention that something large had moved that way at one point and hadn't had a chance to overgrow again, This time, as you start working your way back, you see signs that something large has moved through it again. This time, there's little bits of the kind of acidic gloop on some of the tree twigs and branches, and you see where that ooziness has burnt away some of the twigs. So you see signs, or at least Yelena sees signs that the bee swarm combined with the gelatinous cube is a bit caustic as it moves around. However, you can't quite, even with that going on, there's enough tracking and footsteps and I guess large creatures that have moved through this underbrush, you lose the trail. At one point you get kind of crossed over with the tracks of the herd of wild boar that are running through the forest, and you kind of get turned around and have to try to pick up the trail again.
Asses. Is there any signs of any more of those flowers whilst we're stumbling around trying to find the bees?
You have not spotted any extraordinary plant life
Okay.
so far. You find some normal herbs growing wild, a few mushrooms and some lichen. Things that might be like just you
Hang
can
on a
add in with the
second.
alchemical supplies.
She's gone again. Hang on. She's like, it never does it twice in a night. It only does it once.
And yet here we are.
Aye. Apologies.
I was getting ready to have you guys all roll a perception check.
Ooh.
What else can we talk about in the meantime? I mean, we've already talked about the owlbear.
Bee races.
Bee races. Yeah, Terry told you a little bit about the bee race, but not like the strict details about how it's run. I mean, he was really excited about bee racing. Partially, I think, because he thought you would be excited about the bee racing.
Yeah.
Because during the time that you've been in Rouge Fair, you tried to get some lizard races going. But the lizards being so much smaller than those that you're used to giant lizards.
Yeah.
And like the underground racing circuit for giant lizards. But these little surface lizards are like just a couple inches long, and they seem to be not as focused, not as competitive. It's a lot harder to keep them on a small racing track. And then at the tavern, you had a lot of problems with like the cats and dogs there jumping on the race course and disrupting the whole procedure. So Terry knew that you'd been a little bit frustrated with the attempts to holding races at the end thus far. So he was like, they do bee race. It's going to be great.
Oh, dear. Right, well, we'll have to find out more from Terry then.
Yeah. I wonder what it could be a holiday. I wonder what kind of holiday it could be. It could be
B-Day.
like
B-Day holiday.
Technic.
Like a 3-day
Oh,
weekend.
it's crashed again. Uh-oh.
Oh no, Grim is afflicted.
Oh no.
Oh dear. It's because you have to go back into the office next week, isn't it?
I feel like, sorry.
Yeah. She's going to forego the stream, see if that's the issue.
Or like maybe there's too much processing going on.
Perhaps.
Too much bandwidth or not enough bandwidth for everything.
Perfect timing to pour a beer.
Oh,
Do you
I
guys want to
forgot
take
the,
you want to take like a 10-minute break to sort? See if
Yeah.
you can sort it.
Yeah,
We can
because
we'll just break
I for-
early.
I forgot to bring the thing that you used. That's the one, bottle opener. couldn't think of the bloody word then.
Did not prepare the drinks
No.
accordingly.
No,
to
I
the
made sure they stayed
needs.
cool, but I did. Yeah, so I'll
Okay,
back in a minute.
10-minute beer break.
Excellent.
I'm drinking decaf coffee, which 20-year-old me would be so horrified.
All right. Well, I've got Fantasy Grounds and Discord on the Mac as a backup just in case, although I don't know
For
what
a tabletop
this...
emergency.
Yeah, I don't know what this MacBook uses for audio. That's a good question. Because nothing nowadays has audio jacks.
Yeah, that sucks, doesn't it?
I mean, there's a round thingy there, but it's too small to be a normal audio jack. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, indeed. Because soundless, I feel like when you can't actually hear or use voice, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I could put it on the speakers, but then that means you'd pick up Rach in the background
The
and the
echo.
cricket.
Yeah. Plus, it's limited by how fast I can type, which isn't really fast.
No. I'm going to see if I've got a USB to USB-C converter. I mean, hopefully I won't need it. If I'm not streaming, maybe it won't do it again, so we'll see.
Well, you're still functioning now, and it's been a few minutes, so I fingers
Yeah.
crossed. I'm knocking on wood laminate.
Yeah, we keep everything crossed and see how it goes.
Okay. Is everyone back?
Back.
Yay!
Back.
All right. So we will resume and hope for the best.
Hey.
So you've been wandering in the forest, going on another hour, trying to find some trail or track of this swarm, of this swarm monstrosity that you witnessed at the orc camp, or any signs of Fey, or signs of a cave, any of the things that you've heard about at this point in the forest. But so far, what you've come across are just, random lichen and mushrooms and just generic plants, little couple wayward bunnies hopping through the forest. No more giant boar. Dragonflies. So the sounds that you hear, the insects, seem to be like normal, generic, reasonably sized insects, reasonably sized spiders, reasonably sized rabbits, and chipmunks, and the like. Make a perception check in the tower.
Ooh.
You reach a clearing. It's full of trees. There's not much grassland to speak of here. And Yelena, you get the sense that there's something off about it. Something off about the grass. And you feel like there may be eyes watching you.
Hold up, everyone. Do not like this. Do not like. What exactly is off with the grass? Do I know?
Make an insight check. And you can do that in the open.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Nat 20. Yelena, you pick out several places. There's like 3 different spots. And I didn't think to bring anything for it. Let me see if I have anything I can use as a token. But you notice there's 3 spots in the grass that look like they may have actually been artificially piled, and you think there are snare traps that have been set underneath.
So who has Terrell? You have the javelins, right?
I do. Would
Do
you
you
like me
think
to poke something?
Yeah, let's poke one of those
Oh, they're
things over
tiny.
there.
Because I didn't create a trap. Can you see those little teeny brown dots?
On the map?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is working better now. Oh, the active one is of reasonable size. So
They sort of do blend in a little bit.
They sure do blend in. That's because they're traps, yo. But you see
Oh,
them,
yeah.
Elena. You see them. Nothing gets past you.
Okay, so if you hover over them, a little hand shows up. Okay.
Right. And that
Okay.
to continue across this clearing, you'd have to be somewhat careful.
I wonder if we can just hit them with a javelin and just disarm them. I wonder what they do. If it's just a snare that trips you up, or if it's something worse.
How long are my javelins? It doesn't
Not quite a
say.
10-foot pole, but at least 6 feet long. At least 2 meters long.
You think
So
I should
you
just?
could use them for like COVID safe distance.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether to poke it rather than chuck it, because I might miss if I throw it.
True.
I poke the snare on the assumption that Yelena has pointed it out to me, so I can now see it.
All right, you're gonna poke with the pole with
I'm
your
gonna
javelin.
poke, leaning far back as possible.
Okay, you could poke at it from like about 10 feet away if you stretch out your arm and bend over.
Okay.
So you're like keeping as far as you possibly can, and you poke the area that Yelena has pointed out to like be very careful of. And you trigger a snare. And as you trigger it, you see these metal jaws kind of like clamp closed.
That made my javelins broke.
Yeah, and it snaps your javelin in two.
Sorry.
Better the javelin than one of our legs.
This is true.
Hmm.
But now we know what they do.
That's what that one does. There are two more, and while you know where they are, and you can tell where to not step, they could definitely because they're hidden under the underbrush, you can't see exactly what the construction of the trap is.
We might have variety here, is what you're saying?
Possibly. They might be the same trap, though.
Might be.
But at least you know that one wasn't like a bomb.
Oh, I didn't even consider that. Thanks. I'm now thinking I might throw a spear at the other one, unless anyone's got anything more reliable to hit it with.
Let me see. Let me check my inventory. I don't think so. I can try hitting it with an arrow.
What about magic missile?
Would that work? Do you need something physical to?
What does the spell say?
Hang on.
I mean, I'm thinking that you could. It's a force spell. You could.
That's what I was thinking. Force.
You could possibly target an inanimate object.
Yeah, it just says creature in the description, but I guess I could try.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you throw a magic missile at it.
Which one do you want me to chuck it at? Can I tag it?
I'll remove the one that you yoinked with your.
We'll let you tag it as an enemy unit, so.
Yeah, because I didn't actually create a unit for it. I just drug the token on there.
Should I roll in the thing then?
Oh well, magic missile is auto hit.
Yeah,
so
damage. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So which one do you target? Do you target the one that's higher up or lower down?
Lower down.
So this one. You you send. Well, you have 3 bolts of magic missile. You just send one.
Let me try again. Okay.
Oh.
Boop. So you send 2 of your magic missile bullets, boom, boom, into this trap, and with the second hit, it's forceful enough that it springs the trap, And this one, you see, rather than a snare from underneath, it triggers this rope and loop mechanism that's attached to the nearby tree. And it's a snare that was designed to tighten around somebody's leg and then pull them up into the air
Mm.
so that they'd be hanging upside down. So once you trigger it, there's just this rope with kind of a noose dangling from the tree.
Okay.
Well,
Shall I chuck my third magic missile at the other one then?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
seems safer.
Okay.
All right. And 4 is enough to trigger off the trap. And you see this one is another kind of bear trap that jaws just snap close. But because it was magic missile, there's nothing for it to destroy.
Okay.
Now, do we have a sense if that was just to get critters, animals, or was it to trap?
People.
These are the kind
Peoples.
of, well, roll an insight check.
What, all of us?
Anyone who cares.
I am rolling sucky tonight.
I'm doing good and we're not fighting anything, so that kind of worries me.
Kai and Yelena, you both have the strong feeling that that could be an either or kind of trap. That they were large enough, they were meant for, in general, something that was at least small. Like, it's not for tiny things like rabbits. It was meant for something that was small, medium, or large in size. So it could have been aimed at something like boar or elk or bear, but also it would be suitable for, humanoid trap. Had you stepped on one of them, you could have been trapped. As you finish disarming the third trap, you hear clapping, a slow clap, begin from the direction of one of the trees to your southeast.
I guess we all look that way.
Yeah. I think
And you
we're
hear a voice that's lilting and a little bit laconic, and it says, "Well done. It's not your first forest.
Who are you, stranger?
I'm just a resident of the woods." And you hear a little bit of deliberate rustling, and 2 branches of the tree part. And you see, this is me failing. failing to fantasy ground.
You're just building tension.
You see the face of a wood elf. He's dressed completely in green, dark green leathers.
Nice.
It's kind of got like a leafy pattern on it, stenciled into the leather, and he's peering through the branches at you. "This is my home."
Were those your traps?
No, the orcs left them there.
Okay.
But I like to keep an eye out on what the orcs are doing in this area.
I'm just gonna say to him in Elvish, well, we cleared out 4 of them for you.
Thank you, but I wasn't really worried about them. But it's good to know of strangers in the wood, that you know how to take care of yourselves. And it sort of saves me the trouble of following you to make sure you stay out of trouble.
I'm going to switch back to common because I can't remember if the other 2 can speak Elvish.
I can.
I can.
Oh, okay, of course,
I think.
yeah. Then maybe I'll stick with Elvish then, since he's an elf and seems a bit more respectful. We are investigating what seems to be a weird disappearance of bees in the area. I don't suppose you know anything about it.
The place I come from is farther to the north. We haven't had any trouble with bees. I almost said blees.
Bees, please.
Blees. That's what they call them. The wood elves call them blees. It's elvish for bee.
Well, who are we to dispute that?
It's canon now. I haven't been keeping a deliberate tracking of bees in this area.
Well, no,
But
I mean,
if
obviously,
you
if you're not
say
having
that they are
issues.
missing, I will take you at your word. Normally, though, the husbandry of bees isn't as important in this area. Why are you searching for them?
Because they are disappearing. And the village that has asked us to look for them is concerned because every time they bring in new bees, they also disappear.
At this point, the elf hops down from the tree, and he's quite elegant about it, kind of like doing a dismount, and lands. And he's curious at the mention of a village, and he says, "Would that be the village of Rushver?"
It is.
And Drusel didn't see these missing bees as important enough to come to the forest himself.
You know Drusel.
I knew him a long time ago.
Drusel was elvish, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he specifically sent for someone who could try and help. And obviously, with us not knowing Drusel, we don't know whether he's skilled enough to. I don't know, is that daft? Do all elves instinctively know how to track?
The elf kind of gives this little bit of a derisive laugh. Drusel knows how to track. He once lived here.
Maybe he got lazy in his old age.
Lazy
Did have a bit of a belly.
or frightened.
Frightened?
He lost some things of importance to him during the spell plague. And he walked away from the forest. And he walked away from everything he had left. And now he is, I suppose, cowering, languishing in your village, expecting you to do his work.
Well, be that as it may, no pun intended. Disappearing bees is kind of worrying, and we would like to
There's an
help.
arch. There's an arch
Help.
of the elf's eyebrow at your wording. Well, these bees are important to Drusel.
I'm
Keep an
Important
eye
to
out.
the whole town.
Yeah, it is their livelihood, isn't it? They do seem to be very bee focused in Rouge Fair. So
I mean, you've been there, right? They have the big bee statue.
I haven't been there. I only know of it. I know
Yep.
that some elves have left the forest and settled there. Those perhaps not as attuned to living in the high forest anymore. I don't share their views.
Understood.
I don't really know anything about your bees. I can keep an eye open if I see any sign of where they may be if you think they're in the high forest.
should we warn him about the jelly bees?
Yeah, we
Hmm.
just saw something sort of disturbing.
Yes.
So somehow, some way, we saw a swarm of bees that joined up with a gelatinous cube, and they sort of became this one entity. They weren't being eaten by the cube; they just sort of merged into one creature.
A gelatinous cube.
Mm-hmm.
Where did a gelatinous cube come from?
Well,
It was in the orc camp in a hole in the ground.
Really?
Yep.
Those orcs managed to corral a gelatinous cube. I didn't think they had it in them.
oh,
Hmm.
I don't see the point of it myself, but even so, bees and cubes joining doesn't seem good.
No, that does seem potentially dangerous. I'll see if I can track this.
Did we, sir? Did we know your name? I don't think we exchanged names.
Oh, that's
I'm
right. We
I'm
didn't.
Yelena.
Yelena.
Mhm.
And
Kai.
Daryl.
Kai. You have a bit of a strange look about you, Kai.
Thank you.
Don't see very much purple in the forest.
Well, I like to stand out.
And he looks at you, Terrell. I'm sorry, I missed your name.
I'm Terrell.
Terrell. I am Callias.
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 Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Is it though?
So
Kai
I was
whispers.
going to warn you about the orcs. I was going to warn you about the orc camp, but I see you've already handled that tidily.
How many were there? There were 3. We
Um,
ran into 3. Or is it more than that?
I thought there was a shaman.
4.
There was one in the
Shaman, so it was
tree.
4.
One
in
came
the
out of the
trees.
tent, and then one ran in with being chased by the bees.
Okay, so 4.
Think so.
The ones I've
So
been
we
tracking, at one point there were 5, but I suppose they could have maybe lost one of those to the gelatinous cube.
I didn't take a close look at the body parts. Do I remember if the body parts looked orcish or
They just look digested.
digested? Okay, so yeah. That is possible, or there's possibly another orc out there we need to keep an eye out for. I mean, were there more of them? So it was only 5 that you know of.
Well, there are more orcs, but they usually travel farther to the north.
Okay,
Not in the immediate vicinity.
good to know.
You probably... There is one other thing of interest that you should maybe avoid if you want to stay on the track of your bees. Recently there's a grove where Feywild portal opens every 8 years. It's to the north.
Okay.
It seems to be open now, which is strange because it's early.
Interesting.
Could be where the bees are going.
Could
You
be.
might wish to be wary of it, though,
Hmm.
unless you know your way around the Feywild.
Might be where Terry ended up as well.
Well, we're fairly sure it is, aren't we?
If you hike north,
Thanks.
perhaps an hour, true north, you'll reach that area. Or, if you wish to avoid it, stay away.
Okay.
Do you have any other
Are we-
questions?
I mean, he's already said he doesn't know about the bees, so I can't think of what else to ask him, really.
I'll return to my business, and I will keep a lookout for the trail of your bees.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you.
I forget our elf friend who lives in the village. I keep forgetting his name.
Drussel.
Drusel. Should we tell Drusel you say hello?
By all means, though.
Oh,
I would not expect him to remember after all these years.
all right. Well, you never know.
If it mattered, he would not have stayed away. And with that, Claes disappears back into the trees.
Okay, so he's not seen our jelly bees, but there's a Feywild portal to the north, which we did consider possibly being where the bees are. So we could go take a look, and obviously not step through the damp hole.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can think of if we don't have any tracks.
I like it.
Sure. Okay, so we're going north now, yeah?
We are.
Prancing north.
There goes the purple one.
Is there any more traps?
She says running off in front. Sorry, he says running off in front.
Make another perception check in the tower. You do not detect anything untoward about the woods as you travel north.
Okay.
I guess we just keep tootling off.
You keep tootling. It's just
Do we need to circle back down and tootle back up again?
Yeah.
I know,
Serious
I'm just
business and we tootle.
tootling. I keep thinking, tootle. I'm like, you're farting your way north.
that is not
Air-powered
what tootling
travel.
means in the UK.
Okay.
Do apologise.
Honestly, it would be tooting. It would be tooting north of Truly, but it just made me think of that.
Tootling for us means like sauntering or wandering.
Yeah.
The brain is a weapon. So after about an hour, you start hearing the faint echoes of a flute melody. And in the air, amidst the spider webs and tiny flies and the dust of detritus from the forest, you can see faint yellow and then blue lights flickering.
Can I break out my flute?
Sure.
Let me just sort of gently join in.
Do a performance check.
Okay, have you seen that clip? I can't describe it, but somebody playing recorder over Earth, Wind, and Fire September. That's probably what it
You
sounds
like awkwardly try to like start to harmonize and jam, but it's like clearly obvious. It doesn't blend in at all.
Yep.
And you hear the flute music kind of come to a halt.
I have found the video. Excuse me a moment.
Like someone's listening, and then they think about it, and then the flute music resumes despite you.
This is yeah, okay.
So that's Yelena.
Right.
Oh gosh.
Who apparently,
I love the dance moves that go with it. It's so funny.
like, although Yelena has been to the Feywild before, she wasn't there enough to get all of her recorder lessons.
Oh no.
She just got the starter pack.
I mean, it's a great way of getting their attention.
I feel no need to be sneaky here. I think I don't want to mess with these creatures.
I'm going to
Nope.
shift you to another map. Because if you walk a little bit farther north, the forest begins to show more and more signs that it has become coterminous with the other. And Yelena, you, having been to the Feywild before and having some ties, you're like, oh, yep, there's a Feywild portal here. A little bit of homeland has bled on to this joint here.
Now, have you opened it up? Because I just see the camp and the.
Oh, I thought I shared it, but maybe I didn't share it.
I'm not seeing anything.
Mm.
There we go.
There we go. Coterminous.
Coterminous.
Ah.
Do you see these
Now,
lights?
my backstory is like I wandered in there once myself, or I've encountered Fae before, right?
I think you've encountered Fae before. In fact, while you didn't grow up in the Feywild per se, your mother was at the court of the Queen of Summer. You don't see her. You've seen her very rarely throughout your life. You were raised here in Toril, in Faerun, but by your father, but you have visited the Feywild on occasion, rare occasion, and been to see your mother. You're not a frequent traveler, but you have gone there on vacation.
Now, can I pass through safely, or is it the same case if I come back and it's 2 years later or something ridiculous like that?
You're aware that time can be wibbly wobbly,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to worry about things that other people might have to worry about, like losing your memory of events that happen while in the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
That your heritage protects you from that happening.
And we all are elvish or half elvish, right?
Terrell is human,
Oh, okay, Trail's human.
Hmm.
but Kai is elvish,
Mhm.
or half elvish,
Yes.
half elvish.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I won't take a chance on breaking out the flute again, so I guess we'll just sort of.
You
I
as
got.
you enter this clearing, you see that there are brightly glowing flowers, several otherworldly blooms that do not fit in with the rest of the surrounding flora.
Is there any?
So we can't see
well-
anyone or anything apart from the.
We can't see who's playing the flute, apart
From
from
where you
Elena.
are, you can tell that the sound is coming from the east. You can see that there's kind of this prismatic glowing and some stacked rocks that have these sylvan runes on it. To the east, about, I don't know, 120 feet away.
So
And that's where the flute music seems to be coming from. And it is surrounded with little outcroppings of different various brightly colored plants. And there's like this floaty, glowy pollen in the air in some places.
So I guess I'm going to look at Yelena and say, so is this whole thing the portal? If we step into it, is that it? Are we in the Fae, or do we have to get right into the middle?
Do I know that? Do I know exactly where you cross over into the portal and where the entrance of it is?
You can make an insight or arcana check.
1 second.
And anyone can make an insight or arcana check if you're proficient.
Let me check. Oh, well, there we go. Never mind, I won't bother.
I'm glad you know, because I apparently don't.
You're not sure, Yelena. Kind of like, it just means that there's some Feywildness is here, but you're not quite sure where it would begin and where it would end. Kai, just from your like intense magical study standpoint, and because while you don't remember the details, you know that your mother has done her share of interplanar travel. And from what you know, planes, teleporting through planes, usually are a finite space, like a door that you have to enter. And while you've heard of instances where somebody might enter like a general space and suddenly find themselves in another plane of existence, there's usually something like sight obscuring, like mist, that hides the actual doorway. So for your arcane knowledge money, you would say those rocks and where like the prismatic glowing is happening, that is a doorway. And all these other bits, these flowers and bits, are things that have bled over through the doorway from the place beyond.
Okay, so I let them know. I reckon the portal's over there, where all it's glowing and whatnot. So maybe be a bit careful. Don't get too close.
That bit, yeah?
Yeah, that bit.
Right.
So do we reckon, are there any of those flowers growing around?
You see the yellow green flowers. with some of them have blooms that have been touched and cleaned of any pollen, but you see some are still intact and there's pollen kind of filtering off of the blooms with the breeze, kind of creating little wispy yellow trails in the wind. Smells, has that strong herbaceous soapy smell.
Do we see bees at all? No bees, right?
You do not see any bees.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to edge a bit closer then? See if we can see the flute player?
Yes.
Or we could just. Unless Yelena thinks we shouldn't, you know.
Or I could try breaking the flute out again and see if I do better this time, or just irritate them so they come out.
Either works.
Okay, sure. No, why not?
So you want to do another performance check?
Yeah, let's do another
jam with
performance
your
check.
flute again.
Yeah. Much better.
All right, you've warmed up now.
Okay, good.
So you do some trills. You got some hot flute licks going on, and you play the flute for a couple of minutes, and you like harmonize, and you do some arpeggios and riffs based off of what the main melody that the other flute is playing, and their playing gets even louder. They seem to be really into it and really like, oh yeah, this is happening. But no one appears out of the portal.
Sly.
So the flute plane's coming from the portal.
Yes. If you had to pinpoint a direction, and as it gets louder, it seems like it's definitely coming from the portal. And it has that kind of, it's slightly muffled, like a song coming from another room.
Hmm.
Well, I guess we could potentially get to like where those rocks are there and shout at him.
Mm.
Did you just draw on the map?
I did.
Yeah.
Did you not see it?
Yeah, I did. I saw like a little thing that looked like you were drawing an alligator or something, like you're trying to do a croquis on the map.
Yeah, it did look like a crocodile or something, didn't it?
Yeah, I can't seem to get out of drawing mode now. I'm stuck in it.
I think if you just change the button, like unpress the button for a pencil.
Oh, there we go. There's actually an exit drawing mode.
Oh.
I did
Hi.
it.
Learning Fantasy Grounds Unity. Whee! So you're going to get closer.
Yeah.
Are you going to do anything with flowers?
Well, it might be worth just picking a few.
It seems like there's more of the flower that you found at the orc camp.
I feel like the fact that the pollen's missing is weird.
There's at least 2 intact flowers, while there's many more plants than that have seem like they've had the pollen has been consumed or missing.
Bees go for pollen, don't they?
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
So is this an indicator that the bees have been here? So maybe we should grab the 2 that have still got pollen, and in case we do find some bees, and we can use them as an enticement.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something you can do.
So
so you're going to take those flowers?
Yes, please.
All right, so I'm going to add 2 more yellow-green flowers to your inventory. I think the other one was still in.
Yeah, no one actually decided to take them, so they're still there.
Nobody committed to taking the hematite, so I will remove that.
I'll take the flowers then. Are you adding 2? Ah, yeah, there we
You
go.
have 3
Okay,
total of the green-yellow flower. Do you want me to just divide the coin amongst you equally that you got out of the pit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, there's 1 silver piece left over that I guess can be distributed later, or somebody can take it.
Distribute 8, I guess.
Unless somebody wants to pocket it.
Well, Kai thinks about it, but he doesn't know these people well enough, really, before. Yeah.
To do a sleight of hand for the extra silver.
Yeah.
All right, I'll leave it in the party inventory. So you grab the two yellowy green flowers that are closest to you as you enter this grove. Adjust your cells accordingly if you're going to investigate further and get closer to the rocks. Oh wait, let me unlock it. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say.
I'd unlocked everything because I learned that they do start. Can you move now?
Yes.
Boom!
Unless you actively uncheck it when you add the map to Fantasy Grounds Unity, it will be locked, and I guess I forgot one of them. And maybe I forgot more. So you're standing over a ledge looking down into this little grove that has these standing rock it's like an archway with sylvan runes on it. And since there's at least one of you who can read Sylvan,
I think I have it.
I'm not sure. Terrell, can you read Sylvan?
I can, yes.
But I know Yelena can. Okay, you can
No, I
tell
can't.
that the runes. It says carnival traffic, and then there are like two little arrows on one side of the archway, and they're about 6 inches apart. And it says, you must be at least this tall to enter.
Wow. Okay.
So you're about, 25, 30 feet away now. About 10 feet higher than the top of the archway. Your feet are probably level with the top of the archway. And after a couple minutes of hovering around, wringing your hands, trying to decide what to do. That's the impression I'm getting off of you guys talking about this. You notice that there are multiple flowers in the area. Different types than the yellow ones that you've collected. There is one that's very conical, and it has this a cone kind of fruit on the top of it that's bright green and glowing. There's one kind of viney plant that has yellow-orange blooms on it. They're kind of like bell-shaped, and they hang down to the ground.
Is it safe to get close enough to pick more flowers? Do we want to go through the portal?
You see
Do I
another
have-
plant that's farther to the south that's kind of like this reddish-brown color. It's very spiky, and it has this yellow pollen coming off of it.
Do I have any idea if any of these are dangerous? Potentially.
Make a nature check.
Can I? No, never mind.
Kai,
Kai.
Kai, you don't really know enough about it, but you think anything's possible. Anything's possible with these plants. You don't have a background that really says, I know about Fey plants. So you can basically conclude, yeah, these are probably more Fey flowers. But you don't know enough to be able to identify any of them by name, and you don't know enough about them without proper examination what they might do. But it's something that an alchemist could definitely study the plants and maybe tell you more about them.
Do we want to try and get a few samples of each? Maybe just stay away from the portal entrance.
Yeah, worth a try.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about that red one at the bottom giving off pollen. Again, it just comes back to, is this damn thing luring all the bees up here?
The one at the bottom, the pollen, let me check something. The pollen is untouched. Anything that you see on the plant itself, it seems to be intact. Just a second. I'm checking to see if the bees would have eaten any of these other plants. The orange-red kind of, there's orange-red plant where the bells are kind of hanging downward. It looks like it's been picked at a little bit. There's been a little bit of eating.
Okay.
And it has this faint citrus smell to it, if you get that close. So, like, I'm assuming that, if you're examining these plants, you're at least getting close enough to look at them while avoiding the
The actual doorway.
the kind of circle of chromatic glowiness.
Yeah.
Should we move down there then?
Yeah, adjust yourselves accordingly. So, do you pick samples of different flowers?
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, we can take them back to Jerusalem and maybe get some money for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, now I've got an arrow. What the hell?
Are you talking and moving at the same time?
No, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Hang on. Drawing pointers. No, pointers. Remove pointers. There we go.
Yeah.
I was trying to do a
If you do
distance thing
the left
earlier.
and-
I messed up.
Left and right mouse clicking buttons at the same time, and click
Yeah.
on it, it'll move it. I'm dragging more stuff to your inventory. They should be unidentified. I don't want to do that thing I did during the weekend at Wizard Kings where I drug the key element in the quest unidentified. Or like it was identified instead of being unidentified, therefore ruining the whole quest. Remember that? You remember that?
Yes.
And I already gave you the yellow-green plant.
Yeah, I've put them all in my inventory so they don't disappear.
There's one more. The conical with the green glowy bloom. So you pull like 2 intact flowers off of each one of them. And now that Terrell, you're about 10 feet away from the portal. You hear the flute music pause. And you hear a mellifluous voice say, "Hello. Hi, are you looking for something?"
I'm assuming it's speaking in a language I understand.
Yes, it's speaking in common.
I will say, "Hi, I'm looking for some bees."
Oh, well, there are bees here.
I'm looking for bees on this side.
I'm not sure there's bees on that side, but I can't get to that side. I'm stuck.
Would I believe that?
You can do an insight check.
Hang on.
Yeah, you believe it.
Sure. Why not?
Starts walking towards the portal. Well, maybe I can help you. No, I'm not going to do that.
The voice continues, "I'm all alone over here, and I can't really go anywhere. But I've seen bees."
What, bees on that side? Have they come through the portal?
Oh, yes. I've seen bees come through the portal.
All right, so that does kind of prove the. Are we talking like 1 or 2, or are we talking lots? Because there's a lot gone missing.
Missing bees?
Yes, missing bees.
Well, I've definitely seen them come through the portal. I've seen a bee come through the portal, yes. Big one.
Big one? How big?
What would you think is big? Things are relative, you know.
Yeah, but bees are generally not big.
Bigger than a bread box. Do you have bread boxes over there?
We do, and bees are generally not bigger than bread boxes.
Well, this one is.
That's terrifying.
And well, you did say things are relative. How big are you?
Oh, I'm pretty large.
Okay.
That's why I'm stuck.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Well, I can't move. 'Cause I'm big. Too big to move.
Okay. Did you come through the portal, or do you live on that side normally?
I live on this side normally. I'm trapped here.
Are you from that side originally?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Are you from this side? Or are you from that side? Or both?
Oh, maybe a little both.
How interesting. You don't get a lot of those. Or maybe you do. I get confused.
Do we have any insight on what species this
Voices.
voice is?
All you can tell is they know, they understand common. The voice sounds a little bit masculine.
Should we ask his name? Oh, do we know his name? We haven't done that yet, have we?
Mm-mm.
So you ask their name.
Yeah.
I am Willow.
Willow.
Yes. I'm glad you happened by. The bee didn't want to talk. And I haven't talked to him for so long. It's been almost 8 years.
Well, that's coincidental, isn't it? Tell me, do you speak to someone like every 8 years? Ish?
No, only if someone bothers to speak to me. Sometimes someone might come by and they might bother chatting to me if they're inclined, but more often than not, people just ignore me. They go about their business, paying me no mind. It's so boring.
Do people ever come through the portal?
Oh, people do come through the portal.
And nobody helps you?
Oh, no.
What happens to
They
them when they
take
go
me
through
for
the portal?
granted. I see the carnival when it travels through. But they're busy, busy, busy. I saw the bee. And it was busy, busy, busy. Are you busy?
Kind of.
Oh, so you won't want to spend any time with me.
Well, I think it's more that we've heard stories about the Fae, and I'm not sure we trust you.
Really? We just met. Have I
Well,
given
yeah,
you
exactly.
any reason to not trust me?
You've given us no reason to trust you.
Well, I don't know what I can do under these circumstances. I mean, I can't go to where you are, and you seem unwilling to come where I am, so how can we really make friends?
Alright, I'm stumped now about what to do.
Yeah.
I could, maybe, tell you where the bees live over here.
Are
Okay.
they all bigger than a bread box?
The important ones are.
I'm not sure they're the bees we're looking for, but
These are not the bees you're looking for.
They're not the bees.
still want to make a t-shirt up for that now.
I mean, I would appreciate someone spending just a little bit of time in conversation.
What time of day is it?
It's about 2 in the afternoon.
Can you see us from where you are?
No, I can just hear you.
Okay. Was that you playing flute earlier?
Why, yes, it was.
I play flute too.
Yes. Was that you playing both times?
No, just the second time.
Oh, you're very good.
I don't know who that was.
It would be so exciting if you came here and we played some flute for a while. I so rarely get to play.
Mm-hmm.
All at once, you hear a buzzing sound.
Everyone looks around.
It's coming through the
Yeah.
portal.
Stand back a little bit.
Do we think that voice is making the buzzing sound to try and entice us?
You can do an insight check in the tower.
Oh, my dice rolls have been so good so far, but there we go.
All right, you cannot tell.
Okay. Does it sound like it's getting louder and coming towards the portal?
You hear the voice, the buzzing continues, and you hear the voice again saying, "Oh, look, there's one now. You're looking for bees, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's one flying around here.
feel like he's trying to get us in there.
I think they're heading for the orchards.
For the what?
The orchards. The Queen's orchards, yes.
Okay, on your side.
Oh, yes. Do you have an orchard on your side?
Not
yeah.
here.
Do you have anything there the bees like to eat?
Yes.
This
Oh,
one's
well,
awfully buzzy and angry.
But do the bees over there eat something other than what our bees eat? I mean, our bees eat pollen. They might eat flesh.
Well, the bees here are very emotional, especially the queens, when they're in season. And they have particular tastes. Certain things attract them more than others. Are your bees like that?
well, I didn't think so, but I'm just wondering whether Kai should stand in front of the portal with them 2 flowers in his hands, see if they come out.
What, the big bee? Giant bee? I don't know.
The buzzing starts to fade a little bit. I think they're trying to get through the wall, to the north, to the orchard. Maybe somebody's manning the door.
Really confused about what to do.
Normally, the buzzing continues, but it's fainter now. Normally, the bees stay in the Queen's orchard. But this one seems to have gotten out. Somebody was clumsy. But there's a wall surrounding the orchard, you see. Normally things don't get out.
Who is the queen?
Titania, the Summer Queen.
Oh, this is my mother's
Boss.
boss. Yeah, for lack of a better word.
And Queen Titania's the boss of everything Seelie.
Well, my mother in particular.
Who is your mother, dearie?
Who is my mother? Do we have does she have a name?
I haven't named her. You want to name her?
Oh God, off the. Oh, we'll just go with Melania.
Melania. Wait, why does that sound familiar? Oh,
Wasn't that?
Yes, it's following the theme.
Yes, we're just following the theme because I'm not original today.
Oh dear, I hate making a note of that. So you and your mother aren't close, huh?
I wasn't required to be. I only visit occasionally. So I guess I haven't been through this particular portal before.
You have not been through this particular portal before?
I don't believe so.
But you're aware that there are places throughout the high forest that grow coterminous with the Feywild. And they lead to different destinations within the Feywild. And this has been more prevalent in the past 100 years. It was like a side effect of the spell plague that the Feywild and the Forgotten and Faerun became closer together. Oh, the buzzing is fading more and more and more.
All right, we either need to entice it if we think it's one of our bees, or we're going to have to go in, I think.
You're going to stay over there, aren't you? You might as well just go.
Go away or go in?
Yeah.
Well, if you're just stand there twiddling your thumbs. I'm assuming you're twiddling your thumbs right now.
And we heard that the portal has opened early. It only opens every 8 years, but
Yes, it's very strange. I don't know why it's open.
did somebody?
The fire is burning. Someone lit it. The fire that opens the portal.
Uh-huh. And where's that at? Is that on your side?
Oh, I can see it. Yes.
Okay, so that's on your side.
Mm-hmm.
And how long does the portal stay open for?
Well, until someone closes it. Normally, it only comes open when it's carnival season.
Okay. Does that imply that we could reopen the portal if we get stuck on the other side by setting the fire ablaze again?
Are you asking? Or are you hypothesizing?
I'm hypothesizing. um,
Well, we need to know the mechanics of it before we go in there, don't we? Else we'll
Right.
never get out.
so I'm going to ask the voice.
Oh, yes. It's basically a switch. Someone switched it on before the season.
Do you remember when they turned it on?
Oh, gosh. Couple days? Well, it's been a couple days for me.
Right. Because Terry disappeared a month ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
You haven't seen
No
an
one here
orc recently
seems to
come
have
through
noticed
and
it
go
yet.
back, have you?
I'm sorry, I was talking over you.
Oh, sorry. You first.
No, you first. I want to hear what you said.
I'm just saying, asking the voice if they saw a orc come through recently.
Oh,
Hang on.
yeah!
Is Terry an orc?
Terry's a
Half
half
orc,
orc.
wasn't he?
Right, half orc.
Yes, there was a nice orc that came through here. He had tea with a fairy. Didn't speak to me much. He looked like he
Okay.
had a bunch of boo-boos. Some wounds. Someone had been very mean to him.
Poor Terry.
Yeah, he'd been beaten up by the orc band, hadn't he?
I tried playing my flute for him, but he didn't notice he was in a panic about something at first. And then Tadpole the fairy came by and she invited him to tea. He had tea and he left without talking to me.
Okay, so that's kind of confirms it's not been a couple of days. The portal's been open longer, which matches with the period of time that the bees have started disappearing in.
I wonder, at some point, someone from the royal court might notice that the portal's open. They might come and close it. But it won't be destroyed. I mean, not normally. They'll just close it and then they'll open again when it's actually carnival season.
Okay.
But who knows how long that will be.
Should we go through?
I am all for risking it.
For a biscuit.
Yeah, risky for a biscuit.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, it will see if Bonnie's actually prepped for us being stupid enough to jump into the fair.
Jump into the
It's
fair.
got a map.
Or if I expected you to be such chickens and you would never go into the fae, and I'm just wasting your time right now.
Oh dear.
So you're coming through. Are you coming through?
We are going to come through.
Will you spend some time with me?
Sure. A little bit,
Wonderful.
because we need to find the bees.
Well, let's see if we can get you unstuck.
Great! Fabulous. Oh, I'm so excited. Company, and you're talking to me. This is an auspicious day. Okay, so you step through the portal.
Yeah.
We do.
The buzzing and the music gets much louder, and you feel like your body is phasing between being here, not being here. There's a lot of colors, and you just feel kind of swirly in your stomach. Your eyes seem to sparkle like with a hypnotic pattern for a few seconds. And then the colors don't fade. You look around and you're surrounded by an expanse where you're still kind of in a forest, kind of in a glade, but everything, the colors are much deeper. There is open sky, but rather than being blue peeking through the canopy of trees overhead, it is now like an orange and purple hues. There is lush green grass, no clear and obvious paths. It is sprinkled with purple flowers and other various varieties, and it smells really strongly of lavender. And as you take a step forward, leaving behind the kind of physical confusion that you felt after you stepped through the portal, you realize you're stepping out of a willow tree. And I will change the map. because I did kind of prepare. Oh, look, you're here. And at this
So we were
point,
talking to the willow
you
tree.
realize that, yeah, the voice is coming from the willow tree.
Hi, Willow. Of course.
Hello. Oh, did I not ask your names? That's so rude of me. I am the willow.
You left out the before.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes they call me the whispering willow.
Hmm.
You might have heard my cousin, the weeping willow. He's not a lot of fun.
What about the Whomping Willow?
Oh! Oh, that's my Aunt Wumpy. She's not much fun either. She lives pretty
I'm
far
Kai.
away.
I'm Terrell. Terrell. Can't even get my name right.
I'm Yelena.
Oh, like the flower!
Which one's
What
a flower?
flower?
Yelena, you realize, yeah, Yelena is actually Sylvan for lavender.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Oh, okay.
There's like a field. There's a field of Yelena in the grass around you. There's some, you see the blue, kind of arcane fire glowing to your southeast. There's patches of lavender everywhere over the grass. You're surrounded by hills and some few trees here and there. There's a couple bright pink with very bulbous flower plants that have pink pollen glowing off of them. And to your south, there's they're kind of viney, wispy purple lavender flowers growing amidst the lavender itself. And they have very long leaves. They look kind of fibrous. I don't know what to do first. It's so fun having actual people here to talk to.
I'm going to look up at the willow and say, I don't think we're going to be able to stick you.
Oh. Well, let me think about that. Maybe there's a way.
Well,
know that
I'm
some
worried you might
trees-
die if you do.
Well, there's some trees that get to move around. Others are stuck here like me. Maybe there's some kind of magic that could unstick me. While I'm thinking about it, would you like to play a game?
Oh, do we?
Hmm.
Mm.
What kind of game?
I don't know. Do you like dice?
Yeah.
I can't roll, unfortunately. I have branches.
No.
We have to play something that only one of you could roll for. Or all of you could roll for. I do have money, though.
Okay.
And you look up into the trees because the branches kind of seem to shimmer and shake a little bit. And you look up into the willow branches, and it seems like the willow tree has sprouted little bits of fruit. But rather than being fleshy, the fruit looks like it's fancy cut gems in the shape of fruit.
And Kai just keels over in shock and joy.
I found my new best friend.
You look happy. You look happy, Kai. Do you like to play games?
Yeah, I do.
Ooh. Would you like to play with me?
Sure.
Alrighty. Let's do something simple. Like, roll 2 dice. 6-sided, I believe you have. Those are normal dice for people from the other side?
Yeah. 2. 2, did you say?
Yes, and if you roll a 7 or a 12, you win. And if you don't roll a 7 or a 12, you do me a favor.
Okay.
You just jumped right in there, didn't you?
No, you rolled a 4. Oh gosh. Well, I don't want to ask you to do anything too imposing. I mean, you have your bee business after all.
Hmm.
But I'm thinking something that might help me get free. There's a special plant. It only grows to the east in the river. Now, if you were to get that plant and plant it around my roots, I might be able to move. It's said to be very magical and healing. Would you do that for me? Since you lost the dice.
Well, you lost, so you're going to have to, aren't we?
Well, yeah, but I
Well,
mean,
if you were to be honourable about your word and all.
we can have a look while we're exploring, yes.
Oh, it's just the east, which conveniently is the direction I saw the bee fly off into.
I thought you said that they were going north.
Oh, northeast?
Okay.
Right.
Sometimes I don't
Right.
see so well, the branches get in my way.
Yeah, where are your eyes?
It's a good question. It would be so convenient if I actually had eyes and had a mouth. But the trees that have eyes and a mouth typically are looking to eat you. So maybe it's for the best that I don't have eyes and a mouth.
Yeah.
I just sense things.
And how do you talk then? Do you just project?
At this point, you realize that the voice is projecting into your head.
Oh, okay.
It's like a telepathic kind of communication.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go find some bees and we'll try and find these plants for you.
What do the plants look like? Did he tell us?
Oh, well, they're green. They only grow in the water. And they kind of have this fruit on it that's green as well. And it looks like a braided tail.
The fruit
It's
or the
not-
plant?
The fruit of the plant.
It's not one of them that we picked from the other side, is it?
Did you pick something out of a river?
No, we didn't.
No.
Did you pick something out of a pond?
No.
Nope.
It's probably not it. This one only
Okay.
grows in water.
All right then.
How many do you think we'll need?
Well, 1 or 2. 1 at the very least, because if you don't have 1, then you have none, and that doesn't help me.
Okay. It's just, you said around your roots. I'm just wondering if we need like a full circle of them for you.
I think they're pretty potent. I mean, if you find more than 1, by all means, grab all you can. But I'd like to have at least 1.
Okay.
And looking at you, I feel like you, Terrell, you're the most capable of finding this plant.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Something about your demeanor. You seem like a can-do kind of plant-picking person. I mean, I'm sure the other two. I'm sure Yelena and Kai are perfectly capable of pulling a flower out of the ground. But I need this plant to be transported and not completely murdered in the process of transporting it back to me. Yes?
Okay.
Because I want it to take root around my roots. So I think you, Terrell, should try. I have a good feeling about it.
That's worrying. And I'm going to look at Kai and say, this is your fault.
Okay. Actually, it's the dice's fault. So.
Isn't that your problem all along?
And it's the rolling before I finish talking about the vet.
So telling us what's going to happen, and he's like, nope, roll me dice.
Doesn't matter. It's a dice game.
Impulsive is my nature.
Hi,
Can't
welcome
change it.
Seymour Agu, who is watching from the chat. Or watching from the channel in the chat. I don't know. So, are you going to set out east in search of bees and flowers?
Well, I don't think we have much choice, really. I think that's the best place to start, isn't it?
All right. I will share another map then, more of an overview. And I apologize because this one's an overview. It's a smaller grid, and it's so small that it looks like it's mostly grid.
Okay.
If that makes any sense, you'll be able to tell once I share it. See how tiny, 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 tiny.
Hmm. Okay.
Now, you set off on your journey east. You notice now, and the tree waves you off. Have fun. Don't get lost.
Famous last words.
Hope you find some bees.
Have fun storming the
Yeah,
castle.
have fun storming the castle. And you look around, and you see, like, to your south, it's kind of rocky, and there's not a clear path you can go to without doing a lot of climbing and hiking. To the north, where the Willow had referred to there being an orchard, and they kind of mentioned that it was enclosed by a wall. Well, you see, there is a wall, and it seems to be prismatic. It's like high-reaching and all brightly glowing with a rainbow of colors. And it's not completely opaque, but it does occlude your sight of what's within a little bit. You can see that there's rows and rows of large trees, but not much beyond that. And to your east, in the path they've told you to go to find the flower and the bees, there is a hill, which it's blocking your sight of what's beyond the hill. It's high enough, but it is kind of gently ascending and rolling. And the hill is covered with more of the purple wispy flowers that have long stringy leaves. So you start moving east.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the blue flamey thing?
The blue flamey thing was what controlled the portal being open.
Right. Okay.
Now, Kai, once you pass the blue flamey thing and start walking, you notice that distance seems to be weird and stretchy. Like, you think you're walking and something's just 10 feet away, but it takes you much longer than you expect to travel 10 feet. It feels like it actually was 60 feet away once you get there.
Okay.
You move a little bit further east, and what you think is a long distance only takes 10 feet.
That's going to make this fun.
So,
Okay.
as you move east, there seems to be some wibbly wobbly spatial stuff happening where distance isn't necessarily something you can trust by using your eyes. A case in point, you realize you've left Yelena far behind, and you have to call back, okay, catch up! And your voice echoes like she's far, far, far away. Whereas just a few seconds ago, she was standing right next to you.
The Joy of Fae.
So I assume you maybe wait for Yelena to catch up.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's safer. Yeah.
Are we going to be able to
just
get
walking
through the
without her.
orchard?
Well, the orchard was to the north and was closed off within a wall.
Oh, right. Okay. I just thought that big patch of purple stuff in front of us was the orchard.
Okay, so to determine, kind of going to make you go turn by turn just because distances are weird. And have one of you roll a d6 each time you guys move as a group to determine whether something is normal distance or wonky distance. So go ahead and roll initiatives.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Okay. So the first person to roll to see like how far you get to move is Terrell. Roll a d6.
Okay. Ooh.
And you did not roll well. Because every 10 feet you think you're moving, it actually takes 60 feet. So it takes like
Oh.
2 turns for you guys to move just a square.
Oh no.
So everybody can move a square forward. I'm feeling like a little Wizard of Oz right now. Okay. Kai, you're next. 5. So here again, takes a lot longer than you expect. So again, you only can move 1 square. Now, Yelena.
Now we all run wild.
Now
Now
we
you're
roll
all really
high.
high numbers for the die. Another square. You suddenly hear a buzzing. This is coming from the south. It doesn't. Well, do a survival check. Okay, Terrell and Kai, you're both like, hey, I don't think that's the sound of bees to me. And you're right. There are several giant fireflies.
Giant fireflies.
Giant firefly.
Okay. In the trees or in front of us, yeah?
Let me
There's
put
not.
them here. And they're bobbing along. And they're kind of bobbing your way. And you see they're very large. They're at least a meter in length. And they're I don't know what you call it, the end of their
The thorax.
thorax is glowing like a normal firefly. But they seem to be phosphorescent in different colors. Like one is blue, one is green, and one is purple. And these fireflies are bobbing in your direction. You notice that they seem to be, not to imply anything about like what kind of insects they are, but they seem to be kind of flying a beeline in your direction. And they don't seem to be really affected by this whole distance thing as they're flying. Like they seem to be making steady tracks towards you.
Okay.
And their thorax just, periodically lights up, then turns off, lights up, turns off.
Well, fireflies are generally not harmful, so maybe there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I'm going to say, do
Not-
they seem hostile? Are they making any weird noises?
they don't seem to necessarily, they seem to be kind of like flying in the direction that you're going and look like they're on an intersection path with you. But I wouldn't say that they are hostile looking necessarily. They're only about 30 feet away.
Don't suppose they're being ridden
Or
by some
180
pixies,
feet
are
away.
they?
I don't know. Could be either.
I wonder if can we hitch a ride with them? Aren't they big enough to just hang on to? Maybe we can travel
Well,
faster.
they're only about a meter. If you were small sized, I'd say you could try it. But you're medium sized. So it might be a bit of a strain for them to fly with you on their backs. Do you try continue moving your way or do you hang out?
Well, if we can't hitch a ride, I think maybe not do anything to antagonize them, but just keep an eye on them. So keep trying to go forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should I just roll again?
Mm-hmm.
Roll crap! Hey, better!
All right. So each step is only 20 feet. I'm going to say that you can move 2 squares. And at this point, one of the fireflies, the purple one. Oh, wait, no. Kai, you can move. You can roll for a move. I'm sorry.
Oh.
All right, so you can move 1 square again. You're fully within these kind of ropey, purple, wispy flowers. And as you step into them, the flowers seem to contract and respond to your tactile presence. And they flinch, and then they grasp, and they all try to wrap around you. So everybody roll a dexterity saving throw. Terrell, you are restrained. The rest of you, Kai and Yelena, you have managed to avoid uh, being the roots of these kind of purple weed-like things wrapping around you. And
Can I pull out my short sword
you can pull out your short sword.
and see if I can free Terrell?
Uh, Before you do that, one of these fireflies comes closer towards the purple and is hovering over it. And their purple glowy light suddenly emits this 20-foot kind of cubey cloud of light around all of you. Make another dexterity saving throw.
Grr.
Okay, so this firefly cast fairy fire on you. So all 3 of you are now outlined in purple light.
Fancy. Kai
Now
would like that.
you're kind of giving off this dim purple light, like for mood lighting. But it also means that attacks against you have advantage.
Phooey.
And it lasts for a minute. Let me see, because I need to find the fact. I'm pretty sure I have it. Or I might have to drag it from Kai's sheet. Because you have fairy fire, don't you?
I do.
I'm gonna steal it from your sheet.
Okay.
It's fireflies. Purple, yes. Now, the other 2 fireflies don't really seem to be have any interest in you. So they're continuing to move north completely. The one, though, the purple firefly, was into the purple. And maybe it was attracted by the flowers. Maybe it was attracted by Kai's clothing with the purple trim.
Or maybe it was they were attracted to the smell of Yelena.
Or maybe they were attracted to the smell of Yelena. But now, Yelena, you can wield your short sword and do what you want to do.
All right, I want to see if I can free Terrell. So we would just do what I drag.
A melee attack against just a melee attack. You don't have to target anything. Just roll. And a dirty 20 is certainly sufficient to cut through this grasping kind of weed that is restraining Terrell. And
Thank
Terrell,
you.
you are no longer restrained.
Awesome. Thank you.
You are welcome.
All right, do you have any bonus action that you want to do, Yelena?
Do I get to roll to move?
You can roll to move, yes.
Yeah.
Here again, it's one where you can only move 1 square forward. And another set of ropeweed tries to grasp at you, so everybody makes dexterity saving throws. Oops, I called it by name. Pay no attention to that. The purple graspy flower. Yelena saves. But this time, Terrell, you're captured again, as well as Kai.
Oh, we're doing well.
I still have my sword out.
Didn't put it away. Still
I did
ready.
not put it away. It's still ready. Kind of saw this coming.
And conveniently, because I think restrained means you cannot move.
My turn.
We're going to fast forward to fireflies. The 2 fireflies move away. Though, actually, I tell a lie, because you can try to do a strength check to see if you can break out of the vines yourselves. Terrell doesn't make it.
Oh, for crying out loud.
You want to try Kai? The strength check?
Just one moment.
She's trying to find where it is.
It's the
I
left-hand
see.
side
Yeah, I've
of
got it.
your front sheet. Or if you're on your action sheet, it's at the top with a C.
Hey.
There you go.
Hey! So Kai!
What the chuff?
Kai flexes and hulks out.
What's your
Hoorah.
strength?
9.
For crying out loud, my strength is 18.
Or maybe it's more like, this is his wispy, willowy, elven, feeble frame.
Slippery
He
build.
manages to just slip out.
Just sort of slides right out.
Slides right out of those bonds. Or he has experience getting out of bonds.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Story for another day, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what he's been up to. Very long backstory for that one. All right, now Yelena.
Let's see. So we will use a short sword to help Terrell get free.
Okay. 13 is enough.
Okay, cool.
So Terrell, you're free again. And I'm going to zap through because I did not forward it through and it should be further round along. And I will remove the effect on you guys so that you are no longer restrained.
Okay.
Okay, no longer restrained. Top of round 3. Terrell, you can roll for movement.
Why do I roll crap on everything apart from moving?
Everybody can move forward 1 square, and you'll have to make dex saves again to see if the weeds catch you.
Well, screw you, dice.
Yelena saves, but Kai and Terrell, again, are restrained. I'm not going to apply the effect on you, because I have a feeling I'm just going to have to remove it shortly. But the fireflies continue to fly. Now, Terrell, moving was your turn. You don't get a chance to try to escape. But Kai, you can try to break free or slip free of your bonds again. And I think, actually, to be fair, you can do like a strength check or a dexterity check. Because it's usually like athletics or acrobatics, I think.
Right, hang on a second. Strength or dex, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, that's not
2.
enough. So you weren't managed to like you can't twitch just the right way to slip free this time, and it's almost like the plant is learning from experience, and just when you think you're about to slip free, the bonds tighten up again. And it's like you're even held even more tightly than you were before.
Okay.
The purple firefly is just hanging out, and it keeps kind of bobbing above the purple flowers, but it's not paying any attention to you. It just seems to be attracted to purple things. The other 2 fireflies completely just leave. They're flying off to the north. So I'm going to remove. Yelena.
I bring out the short sword again, and we will take a swing at Kai, or the stuff restraining Kai.
I was going to say.
Yeah, careful. I'm a
Don't
bit
kill me.
weedy.
11 is not enough. So
Ah,
you
boo.
hack at the plants at the vines that are encircling and restraining. But this particular section that you've hit with your short sword is thicker. It's like the root base of the plant, and you just can't manage to hit it with enough force with your strike to cut through it entirely.
Boo. Do I get it? I guess I don't get a second attempt to help free Terrell.
But no,
All right.
not till next round. And I'm assuming you don't want to move since they're still restrained.
Yeah, correct.
Top of round 4, Terrell, you can try to break free. A strength or dex check.
For crying out loud.
It is not your day. This is your nemesis here, this plant. You can't see. Maybe it's the bulk of your armor that's like kind of getting in your way, and while normally it protects you, in this circumstance where you need to have agility and sense of where to wriggle in close quarters, it's just making you more awkward. It's the same kind of thing that makes it hard for you to sneak, is making you hard for you to slip out of these vines.
Okay.
Also, Yelena, with all of your hacking on these flowers trying to set people free, you have managed to hack several links of this plant free, and it's like dead that you can grab if you want to.
Yeah, let's get some samples.
Kai.
Am I trying to escape?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
And that's not enough either. 7 is not good enough. So, Yelena,
Mm-hmm.
do what you want to do.
We'll hack at Terrell this time, or with the. You know what I mean.
Unfortunate wording, but yeah, I get what you mean.
That's better.
Yay! Thank you.
All right. So Terrell is free. Now it's just Kai who's in bounds. And I'm going to drag this thing into your inventory. You've gotten 3 so far. Next round, Terrell, you are free for a change.
Yay! Okay.
Kai's
Can
the
I
only one still restrained.
reach? Oh, if I move to get Kai though, will I get entangled again?
If you like try to hack at the stuff like Elena's been doing, you should be fine.
Okay. So do I just roll a normal attack?
Yeah. You're just not targeting anything. Just roll it in the chat.
Okay.
And
Somewhat works.
effortlessly, your longsword just hacks right through that stuff. So you can grab some sample of the dead stuff that you cut through if you want to as well.
I think if Yolanda's already picked some up, I'll not bother.
Okay. But all three of you are free.
Okay, so it's my turn to roll.
Yeah, you can move.
Please roll. Yes!
Yes!
Yay!
So, and this time, since you can see, you're almost at the top of the hill, and it's cresting, and you can see that these plants only seem to be kind of growing on this sunny side of the hill, and you can see the edge of this patch. So you guys, that last little stretch, you all decide to just kind of do a standing leap into the grassiness on the other side. And you're able to all kind of leap free of where this plant was. I'm doing a terrible job dragging. But you can move all yourselves to like the green part, start of the green part.
There?
Yes. Now, as you crested the top of the hill, you can now see to the east, the hill descends and it kind of stretches into another grove that is littered with trees and underbrush. There seems to be one very large oak tree by the rocky bank of a stream. There are, on the opposite side of this stream, there's a lot of rocks. It seems to kind of get a little bit cliffy on the opposite side. And to the northeast, you see there's kind of like a waterfall, but it's a high enough waterfall that it seems to be a natural barrier from going further east than this river. And in the river, you see in the distance what looks like two little patches of green.
The flowers we need.
That could be our target, yep.
Yeah, so I think we're on Kai in terms of rolling for movement. All right. So you here again, with the 3, you can only move 1 square. Left this firefly behind, so the firefly, leave it with the purple stuff. Yelena, you want to roll a d6? All right, with 2, you can move 2 squares. Top of the order with Terrell. 1 square again. Kai. Two squares. And Yelena, roll. Just 1 square.
Here.
But now you've moved far enough that you feel like you're entering a glade. You kind of start to feel a little bit different as you take this last step. The stretch that you thought it was only be maybe 10 feet, but it felt more like 60 as you were walking it. There seems to be, you can hear the bubbling of the stream. It's peaceful. It's a happy sound. You see butterflies in the air floating tranquilly. There's kind of like a pale yellow light, and you're all kind of overwhelmed with this feeling of wholesomeness, especially Terrell. Suddenly you feel like the whole tedium of being trapped by those vines was a drop in the bucket. It's no worries. It's no big deal. And while the distances of making this journey east has been a little bit tedious, a lot more than you expected when you made a deal with the tree, it's not really anything to worry about. Everything's going to be just fine. And you suddenly have this very strong feeling, this sense of calm. And I'm going to move you into another map. It's like ASMR of Mr. Rogers talking. This map is not nearly so small in scale. You also notice, as you enter this glade, that your movement seems to be normal again. As you walk further east,
I'm not seeing a map.
everything seems to be, you think you're going to walk 10 feet, you only walk 10 feet. You think you're going to walk 5 feet, you only walk 5 feet. I'm just sharing it now.
All right.
Because I can forget things in a hot second. And by the time you step into this glade, the fairy fire that was lighting you up in a purple outline has now faded. So you see the oak tree, and it's glowing with a faint yellow light. The plants look more akin to what you're used to seeing here. You don't see very much that's strange, except for beneath the base of the oak tree, there's a strange green plant that has 4 healthy lobate. It's four-lobed plant. And then in the stream, in the river, you see 2 large, voluptuous green plants with glowing green fruit. And the fruit looks braided, like it's banded like hair. It's not hairy fruit. It's just got that, the pattern in how the fruit has grown kind of harkens to the plate that's hanging down Kai's back. And there's kind of a wispy green light that's floating off of the plants and bobbing in the air nearby.
Okay, do we think this tree will talk as well?
It's possible.
Should we get closer to it?
Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Adjust yourselves. Did I lock this map? Did I unlock this map? Can you move?
I can move.
Can you move? You aren't undead, are you?
That was uncanny.
It's like the only thing I can say. Dungeons and Dragons Online.
Let's look up at the tree. Go. Hello.
You don't hear the tree say anything in reply.
Okay. Good.
Everyone, do a perception check in the tower.
Perception.
Terrell,
Aha.
2 things. This plant that you noticed that's at the foot of the oak tree,
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you've seen that plant before. And where you've seen it was growing at the foot of the tree that is in the center of the village that you grew up in, Oakshield.
Oh, okay.
And you know that a dryad used to live in that tree.
I do.
So you always thought of it as being her plant.
Do I know if dryads are in the fair?
Yes, you do. That's been your only contact with the Fae in the past, has been the dryad, Anuawe, who lived and was associated with a tree in the center of the village of Oakshield where you grew up.
I'm going to take my golden acorn out of my backpack and put it in my hand and say again, hello.
The acorn glows faintly golden, but you don't hear any answer.
Okay.
You also notice that the symbol of Maliki that is on your armor is faintly glowing as well.
I don't know anything else about this plant apart from it was at the base of the dryad's tree.
Yeah, you know it was at the base of the Dryad's tree, and you know that the Druids your parents and sibling being amongst them, uh, it was always frowned upon disturbing that plant.
Okay.
Just
I
out of
shall.
respect to the dryad.
Yeah. And then I'll mention to my companions. I don't think we should touch that plant, just in case. And I'll explain about the dryad that I knew and the plant that she had by her tree.
Now,
So we give
the two in the water are quite strange to you, but the one at the base of the oak tree you do recognize.
So just that one. Yeah. Still for going and getting the ones out of the water.
Alrighty, you'll adjust yourselves.
shall take my boots off, my socks, and roll my pants up.
Yeah. Am I
Tuck
gonna
my
have
robe in?
how deep does it look?
About knee depth.
All right. I'll keep my armor on then.
Yeah. You're all fairly tall.
Have we got anything to dig it up with?
That's a good point.
Or should we just pull?
Well, we need the roots, don't we? So
Hmm.
hang on. I'm just looking at what I've got.
Do you look at the flower more closely? The plant more
I-
closely?
I guess we should. Hint,
Yeah,
hint.
I'm kind of concerned that the thing will attack us.
Alright. You can do an investigation check.
Oh, that was on a 20 at one point then.
Yeah. Terrell, for all that the willow had great confidence in you, you're kind of clueless looking at this plant. You're not really sure where to begin. Kai and Elena, you can tell it seems that the roots might go fairly deep in the riverbed. And you might have to take a lot of the riverbank with you to avoid cutting those roots.
Ugh.
You also feel like there's kind of a warmth. Nothing hot. It's just something gentle and almost like soothing. Like a cozy blanket coming from the plant. And then around the base, underwater, there's a little fizzle of air, like a hot spring or jacuzzi. Just bubbling.
So we need to figure out how we're going to get it out, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we get any closer, is it going to put us to sleep or something?
The willow said it had healing properties, didn't it?
Mhm.
The willow was talking about planting it near its roots to grant it the ability to move.
Does that mean this plant itself can move?
Do a perception check.
All of us.
Yeah, all of you.
Oh my god, the willow was so wrong.
Yelena, you again get this feeling as you kind of reach your hands underneath the plant and you're looking like beneath the fronds, you're trying to dissect the root, kind of tugging at the plant just a little bit to see how much give it has or whether or not it's going to fight easily being removed. You suddenly get this feeling of unease.
Spidey sense tingling.
Yeah, spidey sense tingling. And you also have that feeling again that someone might be watching you.
I look around. Do I see anybody?
Do an insight check.
Good rolling.
You look around and you're the only one who sees, stepping out of the waterfall to the north, a horse figure. It's white. Its head's low and bobbing, and you realize that it has a horn. And it moves majestically, walking toward you through the water, splash, splash, splash. And by this time, it's getting close enough that both Kai and Terrell notice it. And it's a unicorn.
So, as a follower of Maliki, do I feel that unicorns are holy? Or
Yes.
then I will get to one knee.
Unicorn walks through the river.
The unicorn looks like it's got quite a mane of hair.
Golden mane.
I'm looking. It's like it's blonde Jesus unicorn.
It's been using the product. Blonde
Oh, dear.
Jesus unicorn. And the unicorn speaks in the very calming Mr. Rogers' voice. You aren't going to pick that plant, are you?
No. Yes. No. Yes. No.
Well, we were asked to try to buy the willow tree. But if you say no, I won't.
That's funny. The willow tree to the west.
By the portal, yes.
It's strange they asked you that, since the willow tree doesn't normally talk. Did they ask you to pull it before or after you got permission?
He didn't mention permission.
Permission.
It's usually best to get permission from a plant here before you pick it. Just in case they notice.
Well, ask the plant.
Yes. Sometimes plants have feelings too. Sometimes plants are aware. You wouldn't want someone to pick you without permission, would you?
No.
I wonder why the willow tree would have asked you to do such a thing. It seems very selfish.
Do we tell him? I feel like I would tell him. I would basically just spill the beans of what he wanted the plant for.
Go on, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say the willow wanted the plant because he thought it would help him move.
The unicorn chuckles. I fear you have encountered someone very nefarious indeed.
In the Fae? Really? What surprise?
Really? Who? What?
It is a very special plant. It's my plant. You see, those plants are part of me. They're called unicorn tails. If someone told you to pick it without permission, that might be the type of person or thing that wanted to hurt me.
Oh, now we're in a bit of a pickle, aren't we?
It's a pickle indeed. Why did you agree to do this for the person or the tree, which I don't think is really a tree at all?
Well,
Are you sure they weren't someone just looked like a tree?
Well,
it's possible.
see, I have a gambling problem, and if anybody offers me a game of dice, I do it, regardless of the consequences.
And this was the consequence.
Isn't the consequences of our actions?
Do you think you're under some kind of compulsion to do what the tree asked?
Yeah.
The unicorn studies you for a few minutes, Kai. Then shakes its head. I don't see any such magic binding you. I think this is a matter of free will. Now, was there anything else the tree told you that might suggest their purpose? Any preferences for how you did this task?
Do we remember any preferences? He just said, bring back one with
Plant
its
it.
roots so that, it could take root around its own roots.
The unicorn bobs its horn toward you, Terrell, and says, were they particularly interested in you?
Yeah, he did seem to think I would be a good person to do it. For some strange reason.
I think you should be wary.
I
There is
think...
a satyr hereabouts. He's a trickster. He goes by the name of Lufkin. Lufkin can be very deceptive. The silver tongue has that one. He likes to cause chaos. He's not welcome at the Sealy court usually. You may have unfortunately encountered him up to trouble.
I'm going to stand up and say, well, the forfeit of Kai losing the bet was that we would try to bring a plant back. We've tried, as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. I like it.
Problem solved. Well done.
Well, what brought you to the Feywild, children?
Oh, can't remember now.
Oh yeah,
Fine, bloody
Bees.
hell.
bees.
Bees.
We are looking for bees.
Well, there are bees in the orchard. The Queen's orchard.
Yeah, the thing is that there are bees missing from our world. We don't want your bees. We want to try and find our bees, but we're afraid that they may have come over. And they keep disappearing. If we bring more bees, they disappear. And we'd like to try and determine what is causing that.
Tell me, did you come to the Feywild through an open portal? Or did you use some other magic to travel here?
We used a
Open
portal. Yeah.
The nearby portal.
Yes.
I guess nearby is relative, but yeah.
True.
Who knows if it really is nearby at this point?
That is an excellent point, my dear. The portal that is closest to the west. It's not usually open right now.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
It's not the season. Perhaps it would be helpful to close it.
Can
Can we do
we
that
talk about that first?
without getting stuck on this side?
Perhaps you could notify someone who knows how to close it if you were afraid of doing it yourselves.
Who?
We'll just go to the gate. The prismatic gate at the orchard.
Well, and talk
There's
to
a
the queen.
Harrowing, a person who kind of looks like a rabbit. Goes by the name of Tansy Fleetfoot. She's usually responsible for the opening and closing of the portal when it is in season. She may be horrified to hear it's open.
Okay, that's...
Now, as for your missing bees, I don't think bees from your world would do well here. Our bees are so much larger, and the queens are very persuasive. They would dominate any other bees that dared come here.
So there's no bees. There's no bees that we're looking for in Fey.
The unicorn kind of paws at the river a little bit, like it's thinking. If the portal is open early, if Lufkin is up to tricks, perhaps one of our bees got through the portal to your side?
What would happen if that occurred?
She would make all of the bees in a large area her drones.
Would she stay on that side, or would she try and come back over here, though?
If she doesn't realize where she is. For, well, Fey bees might be cleverer than the bees on your side. They are by no means brilliant, and they tend to be ruled by their passions. And this is the season. If she is hungry and determined to have a brood, it may be difficult to reason with her.
Okay, so if she is still on our side, is there any way that is there any particular place she would be? Is there any way we can try and find her to bring her back over to you, to her side where she should be?
Ask at the prismatic gate. If you explain the situation, the beekeepers who care for the bees in the Queen's garden, they should have a method for you to track the honey.
That sounds like a plan.
Particular signature that Fey honey gives off. Now, it seemed like you struggled with the travel this way. You said it was a very, very long, more or less journey.
Yes.
Perhaps I can make it easier for you. And the unicorn bobs its head, and you all feel like you are subject to an effect of freedom of movement.
Nifty.
The tricky thing is, once you find the queen bee, what will you do?
Just have a chat.
Well, we'd like to bring her back here.
If you can, you might try. Since this could be a very dangerous task, are any of you skilled in alchemy or creating potions?
Looks at Kai.
Yeah.
Not particularly, but I know a man who can.
All right. Well then, I give you permission. You may take a unicorn's tail from my stream. An alchemist can use this to create a balm that, if you expose it in a fine powder to the bee, it might calm her emotions enough for you to talk to her. Maybe just trap her. Otherwise, if she's hungry, if she's defensive, your only recourse may be to destroy her before she destroys your bees.
Well,
Okay.
let's try and avoid that if we can.
I'll take a unicorn tail, yeah?
Yes.
Mm.
So as the unicorn watches you, you kind of maneuver one of these plants, and knowing that the unicorn is watching, you gently try to release it from the riverbed. And you do. And the light stays glowing, even though it's been removed. The roots have been taken from the stream and the riverbed. And you notice that as you do this, the unicorn seems to be bracing itself. It flinches slightly. You don't hear it cry out, but you can see that it causes it a small amount of distress. And you can see on one of its forward flanks, a scar appears. And there is a little faint shimmer of rainbow blood. The unicorn bows its head to you and says, "I wish you success." And then it slowly retreats back toward the waterfall.
Thanks.
Oh dear.
I'm going to put one of these unicorn tails in your inventory.
Well, now we're going to have to lie to the tree/satyr.
Hopefully you're as good at lying to them as they are good at lying to you.
Not based on the rolls I've had this evening.
Though you do need to stop off at the prismatic gate and talk to some people,
Yes.
which is what we will
Yes.
pick up with next time. Maybe you need an escort or something. They can close the portal after you.
But then if you close the portal after us, how do we get the bee back?
We'll have to talk to them about that, I guess.
Yeah, it's true.
But that's-
Okay, so our plan for next session is to head
Yes.
off to the gate.
You've
That's
communed
right.
with unicorns. You have been tricked by a satyr. You're going to talk to somebody at the gate of the Fey Queen's orchard. It's all a regular day. And thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.
Unicorn's tail. Oh, I gave you 2. You only get 1.
Oh.
Who wants to carry it? Because I feel like I don't want to carry it because the tree might do something to me.
Well, if I don't have it in my backpack, I can tell, because the tree seems to think that I could do it. I'm assuming because of the sigil of Maliki on my armor and everything, I could say I couldn't get it because I don't have it.
What? So somebody other than you carries it then?
Maybe. I mean, I could take it. I don't mind.
No, I'll take it. I might as well. It's my fault anyway, isn't it? So
Well,
Yeah.
think about how you're going to approach them and what you might ask the people at the Queen's Orchard for next week.
Okay.
yes.
What to talk about at the orchard and what to do about this, satyr who's pretending to be a tree.
I mean, do we think he's transformed into the tree, or do we think he's just pretending he is the tree, and the tree's just an inanimate, not an inanimate, but he's just a tree?
Well, the unicorn, which I never gave you the name of, but we didn't really ask.
Two in awe of the unicorn.
Two in awe of his hair, I have to
formally-
say.
Was implying that there was a tree there, but that it didn't normally talk.
Right.
So you kind of get this feeling that this satyr was doing some trickery, just like either throwing his voice, just hanging out in the tree invisible or something, and to making it seem like he was the tree. And the unicorn said that he has a silver tongue, so he just might have be very, very good at being deceptive. You didn't see through it. So I guess, there's things you could do, and you don't really know what you're going to find when you head back that way, I guess.
True.
It's true, yeah.
Okie dokie.
'Cause we have like 1 session left for you to somehow wrangle bees and get out of the Feywild and wrap up
for
everything
sure.
with a nice bow, and that's a lot to ask for 3 hours.
So we need to talk a lot faster next week and not dither about
Yeah.
what we're gonna do.
Like him and Ha. And
No
you have all
umming
these
and ahhing.
plants that the alchemist is supposed to look at.
Mm.
Like, if
Oh.
you're going
like-
to do the
Yeah.
call emotions thing with the unicorn's plant, you got to also go back to town. It's
Mm.
crazy.
Okay. Right. See you next week then, Bonnie.
See you next week. Hope for the best.
Prepare for the worst.
Oh dear.
All right, guys.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.